I'm Larry Sutton. I am a physician scientist, a product of the University of Iowa's Medical Scientist Training Program. I'm a chemist and a pathologist. And currently, I'm the inventor and CEO of Lopoxy Therapeutics, where we're trying to make a difference in an urgent priority public health threat, according to the CDC, and see if we can prevent some infections.
And the public health threat that we're talking about is C. difficile. So can you tell us a little bit about how you guys are targeting C. difficile?
We're trying to prevent C. difficile from happening in the first place. Unlike people right now, let me say there have been some people that have tried this. Sanofi and Pfizer have both tried to prevent C. difficile by making vaccines, but they didn't work in phase 3. Most of the other people are just kind of resigned to the fact that you have to get it and then try to treat it. But the problem is it's highly recurrent and it's difficult to treat. So then there are other therapies out there to try to decrease the amount of recurrences. We think that through our technology, through raising the oxygen concentration in the gut, which is toxic to these anaerobic pathogens, it will prevent them from happening in the first place. So we're developing what we have named SIDIPREV, which is a meter dose oxygen delivery therapeutic for the intestine to be co-administered with antibiotics, which is the number one risk factor for getting these infections. So you take these at the same time, and that increased concentration of oxygen, which is toxic to C. difficile, will prevent it from causing an infection.
I know that you're targeting elderly patients. When are you going to approach them with this medication? Is it when they're already hospitalized, before they're hospitalized, when they're on antibiotics? What's kind of the game plan in terms of giving it to them?
The immediate game plan is to target elderly patients, which I guess I have to number myself along now. I'm mathematically on there. But basically, anybody of any age on any antibiotic can get this infection because it's a spore-forming organism, and just like all the other spores we breathe in and swallow every day, fungi and pollen, things like that, we can all get it. But elderly patients are more likely to get it, not necessarily as an independent risk factor, but because the older we get, the sicker we get and the more vulnerable we are. So the most urgent need is in hospitalized elderly patients. And that's what we're targeting first because there's no other therapy to prevent these infections. So our clinical trial that we're planning will target elderly patients, which are high at risk for C. difficile infections, that have pneumonia, which is a high-risk infection that can get this secondary C. difficile infection, that are on antibiotics that are high risk for C. difficile infection. But like I said, this is our initial step to try to address the most needy individuals, the most needy patient group, the most, how do I like to say it, the greatest unmet need. But there are antibiotics out in the community that cause this too. For example, like clindamycin, there's 16% of people on clindamycin that will get C. difficile infections. It's a very high risk. And it's a great antibiotic. It's on the WHO's essential medicines list, but physicians are a little reluctant to prescribe it because of the risk for C. difficile. So we're going after the highest risk patients first to try to protect them, and then we expect to broaden our indications to the more general public.
Can you tell us a little bit about the FDA LPAD and what does that mean for your phase 2 study?
Well, the FDA's, we call it LPAD, it's LPAD, as you said. It's Limited Population Antibacterial and Antifungal Development Pathway. And it is for situations like this, where there is a high-risk group of people that don't have any other therapeutic needs. So this is a way that one can do a pivotal clinical trial to get a limited label for these high-risk people. So for example, if we are successful with this when elderly patients, community-acquired pneumonia on fluoroquinolones or ceftriaxone, we wouldn't get a label that we could give it to anybody. we could only just those people because those are the high risk ones. But at least it gets it out there and begins to protect the American population by approving this with a limited label. It doesn't stop us from going on and developing it in the more traditional way through phase threes. We will do that for broader indications, but the LPAD gets a way to get something on the market quickly to protect people